Welcome to Sometimes You Have to Lose Yourself, a podcast where we explore the complexities of love, loss, and self-discovery. Join Charlie Perry and Marvin Speller when life's unexpected twists and turns come our way. It's easy to lose ourselves in the process, but what if losing ourselves is exactly what we need to find our true selves? Join us as we dive into the depths of human experience, sharing stories, insights, and conversations that will challenge, inspire, and maybe even help you find your way again. Sometimes you have to lose yourself. Let's get started.
Hey, welcome everyone to Sometimes You Have to Lose Yourself podcast. I'm Charlie Perry, and my co host here is Marvin David Speller, the author of Unpacking Grief, Shattered to Onward. This man wrote an amazing book, and now he's here. He's the star of this podcast, and my ace in my deck of cards. So don't mess with me because I always got Marvin in my hand, man.
I don't know about Star, man. I think we have a great synergy for everything we do. I
Hmm.
just try to bring my heart every week, brother.
Yeah. And so talk to me about the other piece of this panel right here and Heather.
So,
Talk.
I think sometimes we bring guests on, which is great. And, Heather is somebody who is an aspiring coach. And she was also, I got to say, man, Kristen had some amazing friends.
Mm,
I'm always so grateful when I hear from them. Always so grateful. I never take that for granted because I look at a lot of times their energy feeds me.
yeah.
Because really, when I think about what Kristen meant, and honestly, when I think about ongoing in my life,
Hmm.
think about I got so much from just being with Kristen. And so I never take for granted the people who were in her life that meant so much to her. And, every time I hear from people, I get excited because it's like, it's cool. Because it's like, whenever I talk to them, there's a piece of her still alive, which is,
Absolutely.
which is pretty amazing, man. You guys don't realize how much I get fed from you all. And, there's a lot of people who have, over the past several years, who have reached out to me. And I'm like, okay, good to hear, let's chat.
Hmm.
It's cool. And I'm grateful for that. I mean, I think about, I think about you because of Kristen. I met you,
Hmm.
and I think about all the things we share. I think it's pretty amazing because she was around the most dynamic people. Now, quite a few fell off,
Hmm.
and that's okay. I mean, sometimes you're only in certain people's lives or other people's lives for a hot second, and then you go from there. So it's kind of where it's at, man. Just wanted to share that. I think about this year so far is like 120 some days in, right?
Hmm.
So we're past a third of the year in. And I think about, man, we're still going strong.
Yeah.
And I think about, you know, us being here and what we do, really. I love the things we do. And really, when you think about it, we connect with the people on
Absolutely.
many different levels. And why do we do that? We do that because we love you all. And listen, anybody that's gone through something traumatic, or is still going through something traumatic, listen, we're here for you. This is always the comfort and safe space for the whole world. And I know many people who have came on or listened from afar.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate talking to you yesterday, Heather, hearing that. That meant so much to me, how much we're making a difference for others and people who you never know who are
Yeah.
around. Man, that gives me chills on the inside. You think about everything we do is energetic. We bring energy and love, and so to hear those things, that made my day yesterday. So thank you, Heather.
Yeah. Thank you. The
No problem.
um there's one thing I wanted to mention since you mentioned Kristen is uh somebody that's very very essential and um to you guys getting together, and that's Tiny Tavares, because
Oh my gosh. Oh
if
my
he
gosh.
didn't get, yeah, well, him and his brothers just got awarded, uh they got inducted to the Walk of Fame in Atlantic City.
That's
The
so cool.
National R&B Music Society Incorporated.
Is that where you went to?
Yeah, that's where I went, and they got them. They were inducted with it was the Tavares, or
Hmm.
Tavares as they say nationwide or internationally. Sister Sledge, Melba Moore, Billy Paul, Ray Ayers, and Black Ivory. So that's a great class to be associated with, and there's the
Did
class
you
of
see
20.
Tiny?
I did. He looked good. Him and his brother on stage, a few other relatives, and
Did he say
it,
anything?
well, I just told him I was proud of him, and he was getting tugged in all kinds of directions.
Hmm.
But I'm okay with that because him and I are going to be doing a lot of work um soon when
Okay.
it comes to my songwriting and his son. So
Mhm.
things are looking great.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I talk to him every couple months, and I know how much he mattered from a mentoring ship to Kristen,
mm,
and that was pretty amazing, and such an upstanding guy.
so
I
true.
really appreciate the connection.
Yeah,
Did you say Billy Paul?
Billy Paul,
Is that
me and
is that
Mrs. Jones. Yeah, you got it.
man? That song was amazing, man.
Yeah, that
Me and Mrs. Jones, man, that was
it's amazing. Well, his wife was there, and she received a plaque in his honor,
nice.
um, because he had passed, and so she was very very spiritual, very spiritual as far as accepting it. She was just
See what
unbelievable.
I'm
So
saying? See what I'm
yeah,
saying? I've
yeah.
been saying this, man. I've been saying this for how long now? It's like you have these great women around these men and make all the difference. And a lot of times they will carry on the legacy.
Mm, yep.
I just love to hear that, man, because it's like when I think about the making of a man, you know, whatever religious text you want to listen to
Hmm.
or read, the Quran, the Torah, the Bible, it says the same thing. It's not good for a man to be alone,
Yeah.
and all the benefits of that. And so to hear that brings me a lot of joy. You know,
Yeah.
think about the things we do and the things we continue to do, really. We want people to join us and, like, okay, and I see this more and more. People are saying to themselves, you know what? Do this and try this, and it can make a difference in your life. More and more people are talking about how to continue to uplift each other. And that's, you run into that. I run into it often. because honestly, this is what I look for. Because I do things every day to boost my vibration. Because I know how bad I feel without that.
Hmm.
And I think about, we've talked about this for a while, man. It's just like, do something every day that puts a smile on your face.
Yeah.
And when you get that smile on your face, go give it to somebody.
Hmm.
I don't care if you're walking down the street and you got a half smile, put a smile on your face. You never know, that exact person, you can make all the difference in their life. You
Clip
don't know
that.
where they're at. What's that?
I say clip that.
Yeah, I mean, you never know, because imagine what you were feeling sometimes without feeling your best.
Hmm.
And you think about what you can give to someone else. And this is what I was saying when we started the day, was like, I love talking to the amazing people that Kristen knew, because you know what? That energizes me. And it
Yes.
energizes me back to a message. And so when I think about this thing of going through grief, I'm not in a sullen and kind of sunken place. Now,
Hmm.
you go through different phases of what we call grief, because you want to go from, I guess, one place to another. And I think about people who've gone through traumatic things. They have to change their energetic field to attract other things that's going to make a difference in their lives. And
Hmm.
so, just the thing of, you can listen to something throughout the day, or be around people who bring you joy. Or once you get a little bit of that in you, you start to give that as a gift to someone else. We talked about this before. Sometimes when you walk in someplace, just put a smile on your face. If someone makes direct eye contact with you, they're going to smile back, because it's
Hmm.
something intrinsically inside of us. When we smile at somebody, they will smile back at us. Just try for a week.
Yeah.
It makes all the difference in the world. Um,
Sure does.
so yeah, that's what I think about, man. It's just like, just be your best. Give your best to other people. And I love what we do. We lead from the heart. And we go get the people,
Yeah.
because this right now is landing on the laps of so many people. All because of what?
Because we're here every week.
We're here every week, and we
Hmm.
always come with a message.
Yeah.
I talk about earlier on how I get fed from Kristen's friends. I get fed by you. But do you remember Michael?
Mm.
He was the guy at Kristen's. He drove like 10, 12 hours to see me. He was the guy that had on the hat.
Yes. Yes, I do. I remember him. Yes. How can I forget him? Shame on me.
He sent me a letter.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I'm going to read some of it.
Okay.
Bro, just a quick note to say how grateful I am to have you as a brother and a friend for life. So much value in our friendship of 25 years, and I don't take it for granted.
Hmm.
See, I say all the time, we get on here and we give energy and we give love to everybody and support,
Hmm.
but I get things too.
Yes.
Whether it's a comment by somebody reaching out or something. So, and what I do, I reciprocate that and I turn it around and I'll give it out to someone else. And you know what? It could be a total stranger,
Hmm.
all because it's a shared collective energy. Because we are all tethered etherically to each other.
Hmm.
So you get to give the type of energy that makes a difference in everybody's life. And so I think about that all the time. I think about when I'm feeling a little bit down and crappy, well, what face am I giving to others?
Mm-hmm.
You know? I pulled 3 cards today. So I'm gonna ask you those. What's your favorite spot in your city?
The beach.
Okay. Which beach?
West Beach.
Okay. Is that near New Bedford?
Yep, it's in the city. We have 2 beaches in the city, and East and West Beach.
Okay. Here's the
You
easy
must live near me, Charlie.
Oh yeah,
I'm in New Bedford also.
see that? Son of a gun. You and I are in the same city. Check it out.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. That means
Great
a lot.
come from New Bedford.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
um,
We're
here's the
gonna
easy
have
one
to,
for you.
we're gonna stay in touch then.
Yes, we are.
Someone who makes you feel loved.
Uh, well, my family, friends,
Oh,
or
someone, not some.
someone.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna say Marvin Speller.
No, that's probably your wife, brother.
No, that's an obvious, right?
I
That's
do
an
my
obvious.
part. I do my part, brother. Try to.
Yeah, that's an obvious. But we
I mean, imagine if you went around life and everybody you meet, you give love to, man.
hmm
And some people get weird with that, right? They think love is always about trying to get with somebody or just all that other stuff that goes with that. But love sometimes is a smile or love in your heart, just giving your best you can, right? That's a form
hmm
of love, not where people always want to go in the gutter with that. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
So here's the last one. I picked this from the bunch of cards I have. I showed you before.
hmm
A book you learned something beautiful from.
All right, I have to skip yours, right? So
No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
all right. Repeat the question one more time so I can
A
kind
book
of.
you learned something beautiful from.
Um, let's see. I'm gonna go with A Poetic Pulse, which happens to be my first book, and the
Nice.
reason being is because I I knew I could write, but I just never knew that it was gonna end up coming in a book form, and it kind of was an avalanche effect, man, like dominoes. It's just one book after another, and but I learned a lot who I am personally in the inside just from that first book.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You know, um, I'll share another thing I want to share before I go into my big thing I want to talk about today.
Okay.
Um, you know, a lot of times when we want things to change, we have to change. And what does that look like? Because here's the thing: you could go through something traumatic in life and use that to fuel the change in yourself instead of being stuck in that place, right?
Yes.
Or you could make change because it's necessary to do, right? You're
hmm
just tired of being tired, right? So there's a cause of change because you want things to change in your life, right?
Yes.
So I think about when I wanted to make these changes in my life after losing Kristen.
hmm
One of the first things I did, you know, amongst many things that I tried to do, right? Because, at some point, I talk about this a lot in my book. People who go through grief or trauma in their lives, man, at some point, you will do anything, you'll reach for anything that feels better.
Yes.
I don't know if some people would do drugs, alcohol, lots of sex, whatever, right?
Hmm.
Because we all do things just because we're wired to feel good.
Yeah.
So, first thought to myself, well, I'm not going to do anything destructive. I'm not going to do anything that short term, long term could harm my health. Because you know what? Me going through what I was going through, I was already harming my health. I was damaging my nervous system. I was damaging the internal part of me. This is where they call that the widowhood effect. A lot of people
Hmm.
go through losing a spouse or something else, a child or parent. The widowhood effect is that your nervous system is fried by your grief. And so you can either repair it or stay in that perpetual state, and then there's a good chance you can die from that.
Mm.
Let's just put it out there, right?
Yeah.
Let's just put it out there. You fry your nervous system.
You get that old saying, after a spouse passes away, the other spouse passes away, and the first thing they
Quickly,
say is they
quickly.
died. They died from a broken heart.
Yeah, and it's usually 90 days or under.
Hmm.
I've seen it so many times. I've read about it so many times, and it's kind of one of the part of the research I did writing my book.
Yeah.
Um, and people they come across a bad way, and they don't know how to shake it.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I was already a coach, and I've said multiple times, I became my greatest client
Mm.
because there was so much stuff I was doing to try to wrap myself out of that because it was such a traumatic event. No different than anybody else going through traumatic events, but mine hit very, very hard and it was heavy. And you know what? It's kind of one of those things you don't shake it off.
Mm.
So one of the things I did is when you want to make that change, you probably after you make the decision whether you want to live or not, because you're going to have to make that decision. So I did this arrival letter.
Okay.
So really, I wrote the arrival letter, new me, and it was like, dear new me, I'm choosing you now.
Okay.
I step fully into the man who trusts himself, the man who knows that all things flow to me. And so, and then the greater love for yourself. Now, there are many different ways people can do to be the new you. And a lot of times you can write a letter. But remember, the things you say, the things you think are like magic spells. So you get to chart the path you want, and it starts with the intention. Always. Never, ever, ever forget that. And those days when you go through something traumatic, when you're talking about how much you suck, you are casting a spell against yourself.
Mm.
Words have tremendous meanings. And so remember that the next time you say great things about yourself or how something sucks or how somebody else sucks, you're using that power against yourself. So remember, your words and intentions have very powerful meanings. You are far more powerful than you realize.
Mm.
Is the reality of this. This is why science is saying now there is no such thing as death because you were a spiritual being with a human experience. And so energy can't be destroyed.
Mm.
It moves in different forms. Now, this is science backed. This isn't Marvin just spouting off his mouth. This is definitely science backed now. So keep that in mind. And I think about, one of the things I talked about is arrival letter, your words, your vibration. When you get to a better feeling place at any part of your day, go give that gift to someone else who just may need it. It could be a complete stranger. You're walking down the street, put a smile on your face.
Hmm.
guess what? You gave them something. Something you might never know about.
True.
You know what I did? You know what I did before I came on this podcast today? I mailed out 2 more books.
Awesome.
Yeah, to make a difference in somebody's life.
People you know or don't know?
People I know.
Okay.
One person I've known for 40 years. So his father
The
passed,
reason all right, that was my question.
father passed away. Another person said a lot of family members have passed. So never have I tried to be an expert. What I can provide is comfort and joy.
Yeah, it's
It
very
goes a long way. You don't have to be the expert in anything, but you could be an expert with your heart.
mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah. Can't nobody say you're not an expert of your own heart, right?
yeah.
It's
And
just,
whatever your heart you want to give to others, man.
yeah.
And I tell you, everybody needs somebody. Don't be fooled by the hype. And I love the fact this is what we do every week. We get on here and we say something. We give people something. If anything out there, all these people watching us, we're giving
mm-hmm.
you hope. We're giving you love, and we're giving you one important message that you matter. Keep pushing ahead. You never know what each day will bring.
Absolutely.
So, do you have anything to share today before I wrap up on what I really wanted to come on and say today?
Yeah. I just you know as you see these last couple of days are kind of joyous and I had I try to keep a lot of negative vibes, but it kept surfacing,
Mm-hmm.
and you and I talked about reframing things and doing.
It's always about the reframe, brother.
Yeah.
Always.
So I did that a couple of times this weekend, and it was good for me. Especially where you can't be negative around. When you're going different people, with different people doing different things. As a group,
Right.
and so I was kind of catching that reframing stuff real quick, just because of that, but that's enough for me, man. What do you got, man? What do you have? So that
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I want to talk a little about reframing. Reframing really is so important because it really, you think about it energetically, you always want to be in the best feeling place, right?
mm,
And a lot of times our mind can get in the way of that. And so reframing is taking something that's causing you ease and something that's causing you ease, you can change that feeling. Not instantly. Sometimes it
mhm,
may need a little prodding because you know what, when you're in a state of not in ease, it can always lead to disease, which
mhm,
is short for dis-ease.
yep,
And so when you are at that place, you can change that because we got so many environmental factors that could cause us to slip into disease just like that, right? So I think about reframing is just basically how can you look at something at a better place, not dismiss it, but in a
mm,
way that feels a little bit better. Like, I'll give you an example. Charlie did something to me that caused me to be angry at him. Could I look at it at a place where it's like, okay, well, maybe I read this wrong.
mm,
Maybe I didn't consider his feelings. Or maybe I could say this in a different way that brings out a more comfortable place where I can be at. It's really what reframing is. It's to ease your nervous system to a place where you're not attracting something that doesn't help you or someone else. Just like energy, right? Everything we think about, right, has an energetic imprint. And the more we feed it, the more it comes alive. It bubbles up, man, because it's an energetic imprint in the energetic field around us, right?
Makes sense.
So that energetic field around us, we have to be very careful what we feed it, because we feed it with the right vibration and the right intention. A lot of times these things come true. This is just simply, and you've heard this probably a million times, law of attraction. There is an energetic field around all of us where however we feed it with the right intentions, right? That we feed it with the theta or alpha waves, we get to have this thing come. So we have to be mindful of that, of what we do and how we say things. This is what I've talked mostly about today. Protect your energetic field. And you know what? Music, the music you listen to can make all the difference in the world for that. The things you listen to, the things you feel.
Clip that.
You listen to news throughout the day, and you know it's mostly negative. These things can change your energetic imprint. And these things get fed and these things come true. Like, well, I'm hearing all this other stuff. Imagine if you heard all day about how bad gas prices are, which they kind of suck right now, right? But you won't be able to find that gas station that's got lower gas that day because that's what's on your mind. You attracted the highest gas in your town. And listen, we're in California. We have the highest gas. I bought some gas yesterday. It was 7 something a gallon. So I guess another thing message with someone today is that your energetic imprint, especially if you're going to counter intentions that you've never dealt with in your life, things that have stuck on you with your vibration for a long time. So what I wanted to talk about today, what I wanted to share was, before we wrap, I wanted to get into this. I wanted to share something personal. After losing my late wife, Kristen, life didn't just change, it completely shifted. There are moments I didn't recognize myself. I told you about that. I didn't know who the hell that person was in the mirror. But there was a part of me that was like, oh, I'm not going out like this. And there was moments I didn't know how I was going to move forward, really. I said I was reaching for anything. And in that space, I started writing. That became my book, Unpacking, Grief Shattered to Onward. After releasing it, I had a lot of people reach out asking if I were recorded in my own voice.
Clip that.
And I realized something. When you're grieving, sometimes you just don't need words. Now, somebody will say to you, oh, it'll be okay, you'll get over it. You don't want to hear those words at that time.
No.
You know, it's always great to hear things from people when you're good, but you don't necessarily want to hear that. Sometimes you just don't need words. You need to feel something from someone that understands.
Yeah. Sometimes just being present. Remember that? Just being present.
Sometimes you just, hey, I'm just here to just be with you. This is why it's so important. Presence. Your incredible, generous presence means a lot for people who are going through grief. Big time, man. So I was always grateful for the people who reached out not to say, I'm sorry for you, but just to, hey, I just want to hear your voice and all that. Those things matter, right? That's true presence, right?
Yes.
So with that, I made the decision to do an audiobook in my own voice because with my publisher, I was going to do it with them, but their AI voices were terrible.
Hmm.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to record this myself. And I also added a few extra chapters. Why? Because I'm in this big time onward phase.
Hmm. Clip that.
And so I want to continue to share that with people, and I will continue. I'm in this onward phase. Doesn't mean that you just forget all, you don't. And so it's not about being over it. It's not about getting past it. It's learning how to live and move forward, man. And I'm going to continue to share more about that very soon. But I am going to launch the audiobook on Friday. And there have been some people asking me, what was that? That you?
It was a clapping, yeah.
Oh, okay. Doing an audiobook was not easy. Because doing an audiobook, you're reliving certain moments.
Hmm.
Especially the part where the last day she was home, I couldn't understand what she was saying. And then my way of understanding her was to give her a hug.
Clip that.
That was the last time I hugged her.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give people a raw story. And like I said, everybody's got a story, especially the people who've gone through something similar.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got a point where they felt hurt. I wanted to come out and bring my story to all those who I never met.
Yeah.
All those who wanted to come forward and just share. This is what I did. And you know what? I get to give it to you.
Mm.
And it's only going to start at $11.99, the intro price, which is very, very reasonable. I do that out of love for people. So
awesome.
Yeah, that was my announcement.
We're gonna clap it up again for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So,
so we get it in the obvious places, a Kindle, and how do we do that?
I'll put this out on Gumroad.
All right. Okay.
I'm not doing it on because my book is out on Amazon. I want to do this straight to people, just straight on Gumroad, where you can just go in and click it and have it. So I just wanted to go that route, especially after all I did to get it out. This is most important. So I'm really, really excited about that. There's a lot of people say, "Hey, I wish you had this on audiobook." First 6 months, I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
In February, I started doing it.
Well, you have to understand that it's people coming to the podcast to listen to you,
right?
They stay glued in and captivated by your voice, your intellect, and what you're doing for this podcast. So when you're digging down deep and you're expressing the feelings of your book and why you did it, it becomes captivating and it becomes, something that people want. Well, I want Marvin to continue to tell his story, but I want him to do it from cover to cover in his own book. And
so that was challenging. It wasn't as challenging as writing it, but it was up there. And I had a lot of stuff going on during that time.
Yeah,
Like I
you
said,
get,
that'll probably be my next book.
yeah,
Um,
you
about
get a
the
further.
onward phase of that, because that man, that onward part is just as impactful
Mm,
for us, because I think once you make a decision to dig out of a hole, life is totally different for you, man.
yeah.
How people resonate with you, how you resonate with others, how life resonates with you, all that
Hmm.
stuff. So I want to give, see if Heather has anything to say. Heather, do you have anything you want to add today?
She spoke enough already.
I just think what you're doing is amazing.
Yes,
Um,
I agree.
like I told you yesterday, you have reached so many people. I've purchased 4 of your books previously. I just purchased 4 more, and
Wow.
Wow.
I share them out with people who are dealing with grief.
Hmm.
Um, and it's an easy read, but it's a heartfelt read.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure
that
is.
was purpose. It was like, I didn't want to, I've read so many other books, Heather, and they were very airy.
Mm,
Hmm.
I was like, I don't need that. I just need the real raw shit, but
Yeah.
not a whole novel, but an
yeah,
easy read, get to it, give people what I wanted to give them,
Hmm.
and just be real and raw with everything.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
that's what you did. You hit the nail on the head. Like it's an easy read, but it's impactful. So everybody that I've shared it with has appreciated it immensely.
Mm,
They've
yes,
asked where they can get copies, to share it with others
yes.
within their support groups that they're going to. And I share it.
thank you.
We have to spread it around because there are a lot of books, I agree, on grief, but a lot of them, they dance around the subject. You don't get the
Mhm.
raw story,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
agree. They do dance around it, because it's like, I wasn't going to get a book was like, okay, where you got all these stages of grief, all the
Hmm.
technical stuff. No, that's not how people move past it. You
Mm,
get
No.
you look at it, you dig into it, and you try to maneuver the best you can, and no one
Hmm.
can dictate to you how you're supposed to grieve.
Right.
So
yeah.
And
that
I
was
think that's the thing, like when you were speaking earlier about, people showing up and they'll say, "Oh, you moved past this, you're strong." Um, I heard that when my best friend was going through the loss of her husband,
Mm,
and I wasn't that person. I just would show up and say, "I'm here. If you want to
yeah.
yell, scream, cry, there's no right or wrong."
Yes.
And I used to get pissed for her when people would say, "Oh, this will pass.
Mm,
Time heals all wounds." And it's like, what are you guys saying? Shut
yeah.
up. It's not what she wants to hear right now. She's hurting. She's shattered.
Sometimes I mean, well, all the time, I could never kind of absorb that and why people would comment like that, right? It just, uh, I always want to say is, didn't you experience grief? And who
Hmm.
was that? For you
Yeah.
to kind of say that comment when there's a million words that you can say, or just be silent, right? Just be
Hmm.
silent, and it's under. You talked about being present, right? That's all they have to do.
That's it.
Um, I found that when you have a lack of words, you just don't know what to say. You can either say nothing, or you can say "I love you." It goes a long way.
Hmm. It
that's
does.
the most impactful thing I would say, from my honest opinion.
Hmm.
You show up and be present,
Yes.
and all the things I went through, and what I tried to convey of all the times we talked. And thank you, Heather, for
Yeah.
everything
Thank
you
you.
said. I
Great.
mean,
Great
especially
input.
Pat, what you did. You showed up, and sometimes you just show up with a hug and just let them just be.
Yeah.
I'm sure it made all the difference. And I have to be honest, Charlie, of all her family members, you and a couple other people of her family were the ones that were mostly that
Mm.
to me. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is what people need in
Yes.
order to jump through it. The one thing that people said that made sense to me was like, you have to be careful how you grieve and how much you grieve. Because the thought out there, this has been around forever. You hold them still on this plane.
Mm.
You don't allow them to travel where they're supposed to.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I agree with that, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard that as well. I've heard that many times. But you know, it's that thing too where sometimes people are doing the best they can.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
accept that because some people are just not capable of showing care and concern to others.
Mm.
Mm.
But you know what? That doesn't stop you from doing that.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, and that's what we've always tried to do. Being keenly aware, some people have that deficit, and perhaps by us being in that space for others, you don't have that anymore. They
Mm.
won't potentially have that anymore.
Mhm.
So, um, but thank you. I didn't know you were giving out books too, Heather. That's amazing.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
As soon as that book came out, I grabbed it because I myself experienced grief at the loss of my dad.
Sorry to
Right.
hear
He
that.
passed due to cancer.
Hmm.
And it was a sad process to watch. Um,
Oh yeah.
somebody who I looked at as the strongest man in the world
Mm.
deteriorate to nothing broke my heart. And I was devastated. And I was in a depression for 2 years after that.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm
I
sorry.
lost my rock. He was my dad. He was my hero.
Yeah.
And I didn't have anybody besides my husband who really knew how to support me in that. People kept telling me, oh, life goes on.
Yeah.
Your father wouldn't
Yeah.
want you to be sad.
Yeah.
Um, and I know they meant well. I think people say things out of a lack of not knowing what to say.
Yeah.
Right.
But in the same respect, at the time they were saying it, I was pissed because you're telling me, yeah, my father wouldn't want me to be sad, but I'm hurting.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't want to hear this right now. What I needed was just a hug sometimes,
Yeah.
and just for somebody to say, it's okay, cry, be sad.
Mm-hmm.
You're in that moment. When you're in that moment, you just need to experience it, I think, so you
Thank you.
can
You
get it
do.
out.
You do. You just sometimes you just need to experience it, and you
And
know.
get it out.
Right.
I think
Well,
sometimes with grief, people don't know how to handle somebody else being sad.
that's true. That is so true. They
Mm.
don't know how to handle someone else being sad.
It almost makes people uncomfortable. And
It does. This is why sometimes they disappear.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm not that person. I don't want to say what I embrace sadness because that's just weird, but um, I embrace the person.
Yeah.
You're feeling how you're feeling. It's okay. Feel it. I'll be here beside you. We'll work through it, and you will get to a better place at some point.
Yeah. At some point. Yeah. If you can
Yeah.
ask, you can ask you and your friends when they get a chance. I would appreciate Amazon reviews.
Yes,
I would appreciate
absolutely.
that. I will say this has been one hell of a journey. past almost 3 years. And I understand about the cancer bit because when you see somebody afflicted by that,
Mm-hmm.
someone you love, that's a hard pill to swallow.
Hmm.
Because you're
Oh,
in a
yeah.
state of denial, but then reality will creep in every now and then, and
Yeah.
that's a hard thing to maneuver through because it really is
Oh,
a play on your mind.
yeah, it is. It's a roller coaster ride because you go through those periods of denial and hope.
Yeah, hope
They're
and
gonna
denial.
push through this. They're gonna get through this. They're gonna,
Hmm.
and you're giving them that hope. You're strong. You're gonna get through this.
Yeah, so
And
true.
then I was probably in denial up until a month
Me too.
before my dad actually passed. And I saw it unfolding before my eyes. But in my own denial, I held on to hope
Yeah,
because I didn't want to let go.
Hmm.
sometimes that's all we have is hope.
Hmm.
Sometimes that's all we have, and that's what fuels us day by day.
Yeah.
Now I
And
think about.
uh,
Oh, oh, go ahead, Charlie.
Heather, and sometimes you may see other people around you not crying as much as you do in your grief, right?
Hmm.
And that's something that, what is wrong with you? You're the greatest man on the earth, and you're not crying. You don't feel this. You don't feel the same pain. Kind of makes that hurt even kind of elevated a little bit. Because some people do not cry for others, and
I'll be the
so
first one to say I don't.
mm,
I
yeah,
didn't. I didn't cry at Celebration of Life. I just
yeah,
couldn't. Couldn't. But subsequently, my tear ducts have been used up,
mm,
and because sometimes it's just where it's at. But yeah, I didn't. I didn't shed a tear there, but was I hurting? Oh my gosh, I was hurting more than anybody there. No.
yeah,
So yeah, that's really what I think about. But yeah, I mean, you try to keep pushing through in the best way you can. And
Yeah.
that's the onward part of my life where I'm at. And I think about we're at a point now, Charlie, you and I are out here trying to activate or give people some hope of,
hmm,
hey, you can do these things to help your health and all that.
yeah,
I really wish, and I was telling Charmaine this, I really wish I knew about this when Kristen was alive.
yeah,
Because potentially that could have made all the difference. But I will tell you this,
mm,
make no mistake, the impact that she had on others, I think she was here for a definite period of time to impact others, and it was her time. And
mm,
so we can be at rest with that and rest in peace with that.
yes,
And I think about for me, um, I had the best person I ever had in my life. And you talk about someone teaching you how to love on a whole nother level.
mm,
Me saying I love you to many people, I've never did that before.
yeah,
Just feeling love for people and all that. I think her love helped me through writing a book, the audio book, our podcast. It was that love I felt. And so this is why one of the many reasons why we give the love to others because
hmm,
being infused with that.
yeah,
So she still lives on through all of us.
Yes, she does.
yeah. That's it. Like I told you, past few weeks, every song I write has a whole lot to do with her.
Absolutely. I could get stories from everybody who knew her,
Mm,
what
Hmm.
they meant. Um so yeah, man. I mean, but thank you all for how amazing you are. Thank you, Heather, for making all the difference.
Yeah. Thank
That
you, Heather.
things you said tonight, things you said to me yesterday, they really made all the difference, and can't wait to see you guys tomorrow night.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we're gonna go in deeper. So, anything else you want to say tonight, my friend Charlie, my brother?
Heather was really nice meeting you on the podcast. Crazy how we're so close. I didn't
I
even
know.
realize it, but it's that's great. But I just
We
want to
could
let you know
actually
that
meet up for coffee and chit chat.
yeah, we definitely do that. Especially we have so much in common when it comes to good people,
Yes,
Kristen and Marvin,
yes.
and so yeah, we can definitely do that uh, anytime. And I drive a bus every day, so that's my schedule. And but I'm off every weekend, so you just let me know when.
I'm just so grateful to be a part of
Yeah,
what you both are doing. And
Thank you.
yeah,
I'm
thank you.
grateful to be part of this journey with you,
Mm,
to share our stories and collaborate, and, you know, just to be part of something that's good and better.
yeah,
Yeah, this is always been this way from the beginning. Just to get on here and share,
Hmm.
lend a voice to people,
hmm,
Hmm.
make a difference in people's lives, and hopefully bring joy or something that they've taken away from every podcast. Because
hmm.
we bring something different every podcast, and
Yes.
we're grateful to be able to do this.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm grateful to be part of it.
Well, you get 5 stars of being a star tonight, and I truly, truly appreciate you coming on here. Um, and as you handed and gifted those books to different people, feel free to explain to them that this podcast is available for them if they want to do just exactly what you just did tonight. And
Oh, I've shared this podcast and what you're doing tomorrow with 30 of my friends, and they
mm,
in turn shared it with their friends.
That's great.
awesome.
Um, so I'm a huge promoter um,
No,
of this.
that's so grateful. And you know what's funny? You know, this is the type of stuff that Kristen, in many ways, would do for the whole world.
Mm,
The whole world. And so, at the end of the day, I'm most grateful for the impact that she made on this world.
Hmm.
And like I said before, some people don't have it in them to
hmm.
reciprocate. That's
Yeah,
good.
Yes.
That's good too. Doesn't stop
Hmm.
what you do. Doesn't stop you
No.
being the person you are. It's just I take note in awe of the impact that she had on this world.
so
She
true.
continues to have an impact on this world.
Of
Yeah,
course. Of course.
I agree. I miss her.
We all do, brother.
Yeah,
We all do,
yeah.
good brother.
She, yeah, those calls and just everything.
Yeah, just the presence of,
Hmm.
I explained to somebody, I said, they said, what's the biggest difference? I said, being around some people when you know you're not really welcome and they kind of just sort of make it seem like you are, but they don't really mean it. I said, to see one extreme to another
Hmm.
is tough
Yeah,
and it really plays on your mind, but that's okay. It really is okay because you know what? I'm going to get to be me, growing into this version of me where I see myself, and never will I tolerate someone just accepting me. Never have, never will. Because you know why? I've seen what it looks like to be wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen what it's look like someone to engage with you on such a high level. I've seen the greatest. So it doesn't mean I need to settle for anything else. And so sometimes when you see a contrast in life, you get to determine which side of the contrast do you want to lean on more. Just like they say, once you know better, you do better.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no excuse once you know better not to do better.
I agree.
Agree.
Clip that.
Okay. Thank you.
Michael Consacio says what y'all are doing can and will be impactful to many. Keep on going on, and the fruits of your work will shine upon many. I agree.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that, brother. You know, I always feel so good the time we finish. I hope we left people with the most positive feeling ever. And we're going to keep finding. We're going to keep doing whatever we do to find the people. We got millions to get to.
Mm-hmm.
We'll keep at it, one way or another.
That's it. As we always say, listening in silence, and we appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, Heather, Marvin, thank you for this great hour
Thank you.
that we were able to
Thank
share
you.
with each other.
Thank you, Heather. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, we're all gonna hang out
Yes.
tomorrow because it's that meeting time, So I'll definitely be there too.
Okay.
And meanwhile, both of you, if you need anything, just send me a message, um, call, whatever. I'm here. So
Okay.
all
Thanks.
right,
brother.
see you tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, and we're gonna end with this great outro song.
When are you going to
One,
sing it?
one day I'll sing it. One day I'll sing it.
Okay.
All right, here we
All right.
go. Have a good night.
Thanks, man.
You too.
All right, you too.
Welcome to Sometimes You Have to Lose Yourself, a podcast where we explore the complexities of love, loss, and self-discovery. Join Charlie Perry and Marvin Speller when life's unexpected twists and turns come our way. It's easy to lose ourselves in the process, but what if losing ourselves is exactly what we need to find our true selves? Join us as we dive into the depths of human experience, sharing stories, insights, and conversations that will challenge, inspire, and maybe even help you find your way again. Sometimes you have to lose yourself. Let's get started.